Good afternoon and welcome. My name is Jane Rovens. I'm the Executive Director of the Integrated Research on Disaster Risk Program. We're a global organization and we're based in Beijing, China. I'm going to talk to you today about how do we link science to disaster risk management, specifically to policy and practice, so that the policies that are coming out of various governments and the practices and the implementation of projects is based on good science, which leads to more resiliency and leads to more sustainability. First, a little bit about the Integrated Research on Disaster Risk Program. The International Council for Science, the International Social Science Council, and UNISDR came together and they decided that they needed a program that could answer these two fundamental questions. Why, despite advances in natural and social sciences of hazards and disasters, do losses continue to increase? Why are we still seeing billion-dollar events? And how do we address the lack of sustainability in current disaster practices? Why are we still going into the same community for the same flooding year after year after year? And why are they not becoming more resilient? So they developed the Integrated Research on Disaster Risk Science Plan, and it addresses these challenges for natural and human-induced environmental hazards. It's an integrated approach. What that means is that the sciences are no longer siloed. We're trying to bring together the geosciences with the social sciences, the seismologists with the anthropologists. We're looking at health and engineering, technology, including the socioeconomics of all of this, in a collaborative program. There are three themes that cut across all of our programs. One is capacity building, and that's because science, for the sake of science, doesn't necessarily save lives. We want to get the science out of the peer-reviewed journals and into the hands of the people that can actually use it. We're doing this through case study and demonstration projects. We've seen some incredible case studies and demonstration projects today and over the last few days that show how, when things are actually implemented, they work well. And ultimately, assessing the data management and the monitoring. We see huge gaps and problems with data around the world. You can't compare events in Europe with events in Asia or Africa because the data is different even though it says to be measuring the same things. So we have three main research objectives. One is the characterization of hazards, vulnerability, and risk, identifying these hazards and vulnerabilities that actually lead to the risk, forecasting them, and then the dynamic modeling of risk. We also look at effective decision-making in a complex and changing risk context. Disasters are about people, so we have to understand why they're making the decisions they're making. Why are they choosing to evacuate or not evacuate? Why are they choosing to live in a floodplain or not live in a floodplain? So we're looking at identifying the systems and how they interact. We're looking at understanding the decision-making in the environmental context. Are they making different decisions in an earthquake environment than they might be in a flood environment? And how do we improve the quality of this decision-making practice? The third objective really gets into reducing the risk and curbing the losses. And this is by using the science to look at vulnerability assessments. Are they the most up-to-date? Are they the most accurate? Are they taking into account the latest information? And then ultimately the effective approaches to risk reduction. How does the science get implemented? So we do this through a variety of activities. These are some general things, and then I'll talk about a couple specifically. One is to improve scientific knowledge in integrated research. The idea of bringing these sciences together is new, and we need to be doing more of it. Fostering network and collaboration among domestic, regional, and international disaster risk science and technology activities. And this is important. We've got to get out of this global scope and into the regional and sub-regional, sub-national levels. Enhancing the integration into planning, policy, and programs. Are your programs talking to the scientists that work in your field? Engage in discussions for the post-HFA and the MDGs. We need to be talking about what the next HFA is going to be talking about. What role is science going to play in that? And we need all of the partners. We've had a lot of luck with some of the countries saying we want our scientists to be more involved. We heard it yesterday with the Minister of Civil Defense from New Zealand calling on science to be more engaged. We need to continue to do that. Contribute to the regional and discussions of other global programs. Future Earth, the ISDR Asia Partnership are two that we're quite involved in. And ultimately, providing scientific advice to the policymakers. How do we do this? Partners. We can't do this alone. We've never been able to do it alone. And there's a lot of good people doing good things out there, so it's important to bring all of these entities together. These are some general ones, some specific ones, the ICSU unions, the ISSC unions, National Academies of Science, National Science Foundations. But this also includes the NGOs and the nonprofit organizations, independent research centers. All of these are part of the process. A couple of things that we are doing. Forensic investigations of disasters is a case study methodology that allows us to look at different kinds of events around the world on the same level. So it's to trace out and assign causal explanation of the losses and why things are happening. There are 4 that have been completed in Japan in relationship to the Great East Japanese earthquake and tsunami, and there are over 15 underway around the world. These are not only national level ones, but thematic in the sense of there's one on volcanoes. There's ones coming out of China, El Salvador, Germany, the European Joint Research Center, Haiti, Honduras, Pakistan, Philippines, Thailand, Taipei. We've developed a community of practice. This is an online listserv that we welcome anyone to be a part of. If you want to be part of the discussion for these studies, future studies, you have study ideas, comments on the methodology, there's an opportunity. And we do a series of workshops as well around this, and that information comes out on the IRDR website. Disaster Loss Data Working Group. And this is identifying the data needs and how do we get people to use common terminology and hazard identification. So if you're looking at a database that's in Europe and you're looking at an event that actually occurred in Thailand, can you also look at the Thai database and be assured that you're looking at the same information? And that's really important. So right now we've got Munich Re, the NOAA National Climatic Data Center, Sheldis and Swiss Re have all agreed to common terminologies and methodologies for this, and they're starting to convert their databases. We've had some other partners that you'll see listed here, national as well as international groups that we're in discussions with. So if people want to, if you have a database and you want to be a part of this discussion, please reach out to us and let us know. We'll be happy to send you the information and welcome you to the table. The assessment of integrated research on disaster risk. This is a systematic and global assessment of published research. What is the baseline? What do we know about integrated research? What don't we know? And we're hoping that once these initial reviews are done, that we'll be able to help motivate the international community to develop an intergovernmental panel looking at hazards and looking at the issues around this. And risk interpretation action. This deals a lot with the decision-making processes. So how do we look at social and behavioral factors that lead to greater or lesser risk? One thing the DRR community we are not good at is patting ourselves on the back and telling the media that we did good because this school is still standing and it was not destroyed by the tornadoes and the children weren't killed because they had a safe room. We did a good job here. And this allows us to do some of that. There's been an article recently published in the International Journal of Disaster Risk Reduction. Last week, they just completed a workshop in the UK. And then the International Social Science Council's Fellow Program will be a partnership between IRDR, IRDR New Zealand, and our Center of Excellence in Taipei. And that call for young scientists to get involved and to learn about this in more in depth will be coming out in the coming months. We partner with the World Meteorological Organization to look at the societal and economic research and applications for weather events. This is a neat opportunity for us to really bring multiple partners together and look at the socioeconomics of these issues. The ISDR Asia Partnership, we are leading the science, academia, and research stakeholder group. If you are in the Asia Pacific region and you want to be a part of this, please come together. We developed support from the Asian ministers as part of their declaration. There's an entire annex of calls to action for science, research, and academia. It's available on Prevention Web and our website. It has 18 specific deliverables, and there is a community of practice for this group as well. So these discussions on how we're measuring these and implementing these in the Asia region can be tracked. We have national committees. These are 6 countries that have taken this call to action for integrated research and become involved. We welcome others. And what they're doing is taking these integrated principles and applying them in their own national context with their own national scientists. This is a great opportunity. And then we have 3 centers of excellence, one in Taipei. We have a vulnerability and resilience metrics that's based in South Carolina, and then a community resilience based in Wellington, New Zealand, which is a joint activity between the city of Wellington, several universities, and the government there. So these are research centers that are taking this integrated approach and applying it. Lastly, for those of you that are interested, next June In Beijing, following the International Landslide Consortium, we will be holding a conference for probably 400 to 600 people to come and talk about these issues, to present what you're doing in the integrated fashion. This is not going to be what I would call a dry science event. This is a highly interactive, real world, real language environment to come and talk about these issues. We'll have policymakers there talking about what they need from science. We'll have the media there talking about what they need from scientists when an event happens. How can we better advise the media so that they're informed and know what's going on? And two of probably the most important parts of this is that Connect email address. If you need more information, please reach out to us, let us know. Happy to provide you things. And also our website has a ton of information on it and connections. Also, you'll find around the room and here in the back, we have some brochures and some of the risk interpretation and action methodology papers. I encourage you to pick those up and to reach out to us and become involved. National committees, centers of excellence, or if you're just a researcher or a practitioner who's interested and wants to be more informed, reach out to us. We welcome you to the table. Thank you.